So as you can see, we got 4 different videos here by 4 different creators, all saying basically the same thing. If you guys haven't seen the drama around this, it is taking the ARPG world by storm today. And basically, Path of Exile 2 released their new. I don't want to call it league because it's an early access, but it looks like a league. Okay. And they're going to release it April 4th. Now, the problem and the reason that there's drama is because Last Epoch announced that they were going to be releasing their new season, which we've been waiting way too long for, on April 2nd. So obviously that's a 2-day window in between. And the problem with that is very obvious, right? Is people are going to play Last Epoch for 2 days and then they ain't going to play it again. And, if you go through, you can watch all these videos, Rax's videos, pretty good. I'm going to critique each one of these videos. I already previously watched all these on my ride home because I was stuck in traffic for an hour and a fucking half today because old people in Florida. But basically, I've watched all 4 of these videos, and I'm going to kind of summarize them. And if there's a single point that I missed, it's all congruent with the same thing. So let's start with Rax. So basically, guys, the consensus of all 4 of the videos is, why can't these guys communicate more and put out their games like on a monthly basis? And that was basically Gazzy's entire argument, which is why not just 1 month, 1 month, 1 month, and schedule it out that way? Well, in a perfect world, sure. Okay. In a world of kumbaya, great. Rax alludes to this as well. But here's the truth, right? The truth is, Diablo 4 and Rax on here, just to give you some context if you haven't watched the video yet. Rax has Last Epoch, PoE 2, Diablo 4, and then No Rest for the Wicked, which I have not played. Apparently there's a patch coming out the end of April, really close to Diablo 4's new season, that I may pick up. I may not. I don't know. But that being said, it is another ARPG that people are starting to talk about a little bit. I have not played it, so I can't really speculate on if it's good or not. The other 3 I can very well speculate on. Here's the biggest thing is they're saying, well, why can't we space them out? GGG is owned 100% by Tencent now. And apparently Last Epoch, and I did not know this, but apparently Last Epoch had a 25% or a 20% buyout to Tencent as well, which I'm sure was a big payday for Judd and the company and the owners. So congratulations to them on the buyout, and especially having a company like that come in with a minority stake. Okay. Now, that being said, Rax alludes to something that may actually be true here, which is they may have done it so that they can tank the value of Last Epoch and buy the rest of it, right? Because that's what's going to happen. All right. Now, I'm going to explain why it doesn't matter. It's not their fault. But from a business strategy standpoint, it does make sense to do it that way. Again, if you own a minority stake in a company, and let's say you paid a couple $1,000,000, but you think the game is going to be a monster as they continue to develop, it's not a bad idea to ruin their second season, have their valuation go through the floor, and then buy the rest of the company when they come begging because they're out of cash, right? Like, not a bad strategy. Is it ethical? No, but they could do it, right? So that is an option. Also, by the way, if you do hear pounding, it is not the victims that I hold in my attic. It is actually if it keeps getting really bad, I'm just going to call Tom Homan, and he's probably going to come and clean out the entire attic of the people working up there. That gives you any indication. But basically, they're fixing something in the house, so I do apologize. Let's get back into this. So Last Epoch has taken 9 months to send out their last season. That's their problem, right? First off, you're a live service game. You are not in Kickstarter anymore. You are not in the 5+ years it took you to get the game released. And I played before it came out when they did a open beta. I paid for it the second I could pay any money to get it. I paid for it so that I could go in and play it. Same with PoE 2, obviously. And I think Last Epoch's a great game. To me, the crafting system is super fun. To me, the end game really was boring. And as soon as you got, really once you got to empowered monoliths, you were literally rinsing and repeating the same exact thing in an amount that just wasn't fun. And there was really no variation on it. So to me, that was where it kind of fell off for me. And so I would just level different characters, and I had a blast. I think the game experience and the campaign experience and getting to Empowered Monoliths in Last Epoch is super fun. Um, they've added a ton of cool features in season 2. Obviously, you can go to any of these guys and check it out. I'm not going to do redundant content on that because these guys do a lot better job and they're a lot quicker at it because this is what they do for a living, right? So if you want to go see any of those, it's super easy to find. But it looks like, and it's going to be a great season. They've done a ton of work to it. That's awesome. The problem, guys, it took you 9 months to fucking do it. Like, that's unacceptable. It is. And frankly, I think if you're going to take 9 months to do a season and you had such a great, I don't want to say launch because both the regular game and the season 1 actual launch day was horrific. No one could play the entire time. Like, it was terrible how awful the servers were handled, how terrible the back end systems were. They were not prepared for that amount of players, which obviously that's a success problem, right? So that's great. But the problem is when you have huge infrastructure problems like that within your game, you're going to get these big companies who come in and say, well, we could fix this for you because we'll just throw money at it. We'll get you all the servers. We'll make sure you're good to go. You won't have launch problems because this is what we do, right? Because we own the biggest ARPG on the planet, right? And so they have the technology and the resources to do that, which is, I think, probably one of the main reasons they sold a piece off, right? That was the problem. The issue is when it takes you 9 months to put out a live service, live game, and it takes you 9 months to put out a season, you deserve to get your ass kicked, right? And Blizzard, guys, to give you an example of Blizzard used to smoke screen other games all the time. It seemed like back when I was playing World of Warcraft all the time, it seemed like every time there was another game, and I don't even like, I mean, I remember I think it was SWTOR. There was a few games like in the era of 2008 to 2013, somewhere in there. There was an kind of a wave of like every year there'd be 1 or 2 games that would come out that were going to be the WoW killers, right? And magically, every time they'd release a date of when they were going to launch or when a big thing was coming, Blizzard would throw something there. Like they would just throw something here within a week or 2 weeks so that nobody cared because everyone was playing WoW. And they smashed pretty much everybody who came in their way. Now, the problem now is GGG is now the big dog on the block, okay? And they don't care, right? They are the winners. They are the GOATs. They are the best. And what they do is what's going to happen. Right? If they want to release PoE 2 on April 2nd and move it up 2 days just to piss them off more, there ain't nothing they can do about it. Why? Because it took you 9 months to put a fucking season out. That's your problem. Okay? I don't care how big it is. I don't care how good it is. Do what Diablo 4 does, right? Put out a brainwashed repeat season with just the same content, just with different multipliers on it, right? And call it a new season so you don't have to spend any money. And you could have put 3 of those out in this time while you're actually working on this, right? Like while you're working on something big. You had the ability to do that. Now, I understand why you didn't, because the way Blizzard does it makes everybody want to pull their fucking hair out because they're so bad, right? But again, at the end of the day, it is a content viable option. You could have fixed multiple little things. There's a lot of stuff you could have done, right? Now, that being said, PoE 2 is not a fully released game, okay? PoE 2 is in early access. This is their first major update of their early access to get the game to launch. And I've made a video about this before. It was very popular in my channel standards, right? Very popular in my channel standards of how their time frame was going to be and how it doesn't look like there was any way possible that they were going to get to a full release within a year, which is what Jonathan said, right? That's what their game director said. We will be launched within 6 to 12 months. 6 months, we're obviously all laughing at that, right? That ain't even there's no way they're hitting a year. I said that then, I'll say it again now. I don't think, unless on the 27th reveal, unless on that patch reveal, they have every single ascendancy for all 6 of the classes that were already in the game, plus all 3 for the 7th one that they're adding, plus acts 4, 5, and 6. then they would be on pace to hit the year because they would still have to put out 5 classes and all the end game stuff. I can't imagine they cooked that hard. Now, again, if they did, GGG the GOAT. And there's nothing you can say about it. They would be the GOAT. If they could pull that off, that is GOAT shit. But I don't think so. We'll see on the 27th. But my prediction is it's not as big as we think it's going to be. And it's going to be an issue. So they're going to have to delay it. But again, we'll see. You know, I never doubt a company that has the passion and the talent that GGG does to be able to pull off God tier development, right? Like I'm just never going to bet against them. So that being said, they bit off a lot, okay, with the amount of game that they want to produce before it releases. Now that being said, this is 0.2. It's their first big patch. They're going to have to put out probably 4, 5, or 6 more of these, which means we're looking at 18 months till they launch if they stay on the current time frame that they're on. That's just the truth, right? 18 months. So I don't think it's going to happen. But that being said, we'll see. Now, the problem that I have with 3 of the, really even Aaron's video, is they all said the same thing, basically, right? And this is the big thing. They said, well, why can't they just all get along? Why can't they just move their release dates, talk to each other, blah, blah. Yeah, they can, guys, but that's not real business. And I know I heard in almost every single video, well, they talk and they're friends and they do. No, they're friendly, okay? In business, they're friendly. And there's a huge difference between being someone's friend and being friendly to your competition, okay? These guys are all competing for the same market share. Now, I will tell you this. I think that in a perfect world, having multiple great games will raise the market share. Like the total pie of market share will go up if you have more great games because more people will play, right? And if they play one and then they hear about their friends playing another one, or they see a bunch of hype in the general chat about some other game, they might go, they'll go try it out. It's a good way to build everybody's value. But that being said, behind the scenes, these guys do not like each other. I'm telling you, they look at each other as they should, which is competitively. Now, you can have friendly competition. I have friends in similar spaces as me. I have other gym owners that I know, et cetera, et cetera. I help them as much as I can. They help me with supplements. They help me. I help them. Like this is in the real world of business, this is a thing that happens. But that being said, if it comes down to I want this influencer and they want this influencer and it's the same influencer, we're going at it. And there's going to be a winner and there's going to be a loser. That is how business works. And frankly, I also have friends who they're the big dog in the space, right? If they come in and say, nope, we get this guy, there ain't nothing us peasants can do about it, right? There ain't nothing us EHGs and us like our last epochs and our no rest for the wickeds. There ain't nothing we're going to do about it if the big dog comes in and says, nope, mine. That's just the truth. There's nothing that we're going to do about it. So I want you to understand that in the real world, in real business, they're looking at this saying, hey, we have to get this game out. We're the big dog on the block. This is when we want to drop it. If you don't like it, move your shit. Now, here's the problem. Last Epoch can't move their shit. Let me rephrase. They can. They shouldn't. Because at some point, this is just how life is going to go. And what you need to understand is you should be putting out content like you said in your last interview that I watched, about every 4 months. So you took over double the amount of time. It took you too long. Your time frame no longer matters. And like these guys alluded to, in a perfect world, it would be this one 1 month, this one 1 month, this one 1 month. And then I think Gazzy said, and then 24 hours for the new D4 season, and then back to that location, right? Which is great. But even if you had one a month and you had all 4 of these games coming out with a content every 4 months, a content patch, or even throw Path of Exile 1 in there, and now you have one every 5 months. Well, that's great. But the problem is that's not reality because of what Last Epoch did. They said to their viewers they want to put out patches every 3 to 4 months. It took them 9. When you take over twice as long to do what you said, 2 to 3 times longer than what you said, you don't get privilege, you don't get friendship, you get your butt kicked by the big dog. That's how it works, okay? And I know that that might not seem fair. I know that that might seem cutthroat. That's real life. And I don't care how much kumbaya or friendship or bullshit you want to sing. I don't care what color you dye your hair. That ain't real life, and that ain't real business, okay? And there ain't nothing that you can do about it. In the real world, that's how shit works. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is the reason that you're seeing all these videos, and this is the truth. Okay, this is the actual truth that you're seeing all these videos of this, because as a player, I don't care, right? Like, as somebody who this isn't my job, this isn't what I do, I don't care if they're 2 days apart. I'm going to play Last Epoch when it comes out for a couple days, and I'm going to really like it probably. Okay, am I going to get very far into the game? No, probably not. Right? Like, I probably won't, because I won't have a lot of time. I get back from a family vacation a couple days before that, and I'll have a million things to catch up on at work. I've got a lot of stuff that we're working on in the background. I'm probably going to be buried in work. I'm probably not going to get very far. Okay? So I'm okay with that. I know that. Right? When PoE 2 drops, if there's like a new class that looked pretty dope, the Huntress, I'm probably going to level one. Right? Especially considering what else they put in there. Now, that being said, if they don't add anything to Endgame, I might just hang out in Last Epoch for a couple weeks and then switch over to PoE. But what's going to happen regardless is when I start to get to that point in PoE 2 where I just, it is what it is, right? Like, by the end of those 2 games, like, that's going to be 28 great days, and then we get Diablo 4's new season, which, again, I'll probably check it out. Now, I don't know how long I'll play it. If it's anything like this season, I'll play it for like 3 days, and then I'll be like, okay, this blows. And it's just recycled season 2, and you guys didn't add anything at all. You just made the game bitch ass easy. Like, great. But it looks like they're trying to make it harder, which, again, the problem is making it harder without adding content isn't adding content. So we'll see. But, guys, these guys are pissed because of the fact that as a streamer, you want releases to come sporadically so that you can get a bunch of viewers, a bunch of subs, a bunch of Twitch drops, and then switch to the next game and do it again. That is the most lucrative for a streamer who has viewers, right? Like, for somebody who does this for a living, that's when you make all the YouTube videos. Like, so these guys have 2 choices. They can go bananas April 2nd, April 3rd, April 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. They can go absolutely apeshit making streaming and making content and going bonkers and working their balls off. That's probably what they should do, right? If it was your full-time job, that's what I would do. If I only had to do this all day, I would definitely be doing that. I'd be streaming for 10, 12 hours a day. I'd be cutting up content, making guides throughout the stream, going back through, clipping it, et cetera, uploading it, going through the new content, going through guides, going through new classes, trying to farm views. That's what I'd be doing. I'd be farming views hard. And then the second the next game came out, bang, 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 I'd be on my Twitch. I'd be trying to get subs. I'd be, right, like, doing that. And that's just what I would do until it slowed down. And I don't know how long that would take. Right? But probably 6 to 8 days is going to be your window. And then the end of the month, you're going to have Diablo. You do it again. So April, you should make some fucking money. Like, you should make some good money if you're a streamer and a content producer in April, right? That should be it. But again, they're pissed primarily because of the fact that now they have to split their time between games, and they're not going to be able to capitalize on both. Right? Like, there's no way that you can capitalize on both when they're that close. So I get it. And the last reason that both of these guys are launching at the beginning of April is what starts April 1st. Not April Fool's Day. I know that, like, these are publicly traded companies. What starts April 1st? January, February, March, April, May, June. Quarter 2. Okay. This is quarter two profit boost. That's what this is. GGG's is going to look real good. Okay. Their quarter two numbers are going to look fantastic. Last Epoch's quarter two numbers are not. Now, they're going to go up comparatively to the last three quarters because they haven't released Dick, but they ain't going to be what the projections were. And because of that, the board's going to be a little upset at Tencent. They're going to go into the company and say, well, this is what we bought. This is the valuation. Now the valuation's down to this. And they're going to have two choices. They're going to have two choices to buy more or to put more resources in to get content out faster. But at the end of the day, when you have companies like Tencent and you have companies like Blizzard, Activision, and Microsoft, when you go public, there is one thing that matters. It is quarterly earnings. That is it. You lose the respect of your community when you do this. Now, from a payday, it's amazing. From the things it allows you to do for your teams, it's amazing. From the amount of money, it's amazing. And you can change a lot of lives with that. You can make a lot of people's hard work pay off and set their families up with real success. And that is commendable. There's nothing wrong with that. But once you sell your soul is sold. And the rest of your days inside of that company are built on creating and producing a higher earnings sheet than the previous quarter. That is what you are judged on, period. Okay? Because you have taken other people's money and said, we're going to grow. So we'll see what happens. But that's the drama. Let me guys know what you think in the comments. All the YouTube stuff that they always say, do all that crap. Help me out. Blah, 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 blah. Peace.